And now after some of these very simple changes to the proportion as well as the contrast, there's the before, there's the after, before, after. For those of you who are watching, if you're not in the habit of actually measuring out different parts of the face and understanding all these proportions, listen, the next time you talk to your friends, go measure their face in your head. Make sure they're not strangely proportioned. And if they are, hey, let them know. Be like, bro, your eye line is way too low. Just do it, trust me, make them insecure. Oh, hi there, welcome. You're late today to our class critique session, so please sit down, get comfortable before Professor Sam decides to call your parents and get you in trouble, you little In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at some of the works of our Patreon members alongside their references, and hopefully we can give them some helpful feedback and save their art. So our first victim is Candido. Tried speed painting and I'm looking for critique. Thanks, I got you, buddy. So right off the bat, you can probably see there's something wrong with this painting. It doesn't have color. I'm just playing, sorry. It's the unk in me, I have to make these jokes. Now, if you were to ask me to do something to improve this drawing, believe it or not, I wouldn't actually work on the character's face. I think you've already done a great job on the character, on the proportions, on the stylization. The only thing that's bugging me a little bit is the hair. Because you've got this very nicely rendered grayscale character here, but then for her hair, you just decided we're gonna give her a mop. We cannot have this. So let me just show you guys some quick ways to make the hair a lot more convincing, okay? And just before I do this, remember, do not paint over other people's work unless you have their permission to do so. All right, guys, get consent. Consent is important. Now, I want you guys to take a look at the reference over here, okay? If you break the hair down into bigger shapes, you can see we have got some very striking silhouette elements on the hair, and we can break these down into simpler shapes and apply that to our character. However, in our drawing, you can see the silhouette is very wobbly, very unsure. I don't know what's going on here. And as we progress, you can see more wobbliness, more unsureness. I don't know what's happening here. I'm not sure what's happening here either. So now look to the left, to the right, to the left, to the right. Which one looks more like hair to you? If you set the one on the right, you might need to see a doctor for your brain, because it's damaged. This is, however, a very simple fix. All I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a very sharp brush. So this is a brush that gives me some line variation, kind of like that. I'm gonna rotate it so that it follows the direction of the hair. And now I'm just going to add in some stranding on the side of the hair. We want to avoid jagged elements like these, okay? You wanna make sure that you're confident in your shapes. This is like the chicken scratching of hair rendering. Avoid these at all costs, even if it means that your drawing looks a little bit less accurate to the reference. Cut away at these, okay? Completely get rid of those big, bold brush strokes. Same thing on the other side, okay? We're gonna just cut back into the silhouette a little bit more. Now, using the same brush, I'm going to carve out some more sharper triangular shapes for the silhouette of the hair. And it might seem like I'm putting a lot of emphasis on just the silhouette right now, but the silhouette is actually one of the most important parts in conveying the texture of hair. If you think about it, it kind of actually ties into character design, because when we want to draw an iconic looking character, one of the most important things, the first thing that we should focus on is the silhouette of that character. And a strong silhouette with strong shapes ensures that there's no confusion about the subject that you're drawing. So I think this new silhouette that we've added looks a lot more natural, and we can actually bring this onto the bangs as well. So I'm just using a combination of light and dark values here to really give it a little bit more layering, a little bit more texture. I'm going to add in some even smaller details on the very outside of the silhouette here, kind of like some individual loose strands of hair. Again, just selling the texture of hair. So after all of that hard work, okay, check it out. This is the before. That's the after. Before and after, before and after. So you can kind of see just how big of a difference a little change in the silhouette actually makes. Our next victim is Pixel with a beautiful portrait. Switched up the colors as I've been advised. It's a cool exercise. You know what else would be a cool exercise, Pixel? Getting the correct angle for the eye line. Let me just show you guys what I'm talking about here. Okay, so this is a mistake that I personally made a lot when I first started learning how to draw faces, especially when they're kind of tilted, because it just throws your brain off. But here's the thing. I want you to notice how the eye line, the brow line, the nose, the mouth all follow the exact same angle. So this is a bit of a problem, because when we compare that to the drawing, what we're getting is, look at the angle of the eyebrows, the angle of the eyes, the angle of the nostrils seems to go this way, and the angle of the mouth goes that way. Okay, so we are kind of zigzagging. We don't want to be doing no wibbly wobbly here, so let's bring up Liquify, the wibbly wobbly fixer. All I'm going to do is I'm going to drag the eyebrow and the eye upwards to match the angle that we see in the reference. I'm going to bring the outer corner of this eye downwards, again, to match the angle that we see in the reference. We're going to move the nose down just a little bit, and then again, match the nostrils and the angle of the nostrils to what we see in the reference. And again, move the corners down and match these corners and their angle. Now I'm going to just adjust the silhouette of the jaw as well as of the cheek and the back of the jaw. Plus, move the ear up just a little bit, and there you go. But that's not the end of it, okay? I've got more bones to pick with you, Pixel. One of the problems here is if you take a look at the reference and look at the shadows on the skin here, they do get very, very dark, and they are on par with the darkest parts of the hair, as you can see. But on our drawing here, even in the darkest sections of the skin, even in the ambient occlusion, it's still very light. Now, granted, there are times where people do make flat drawings like this intentionally and go for a very pastel color, but they tend to have a unified color palette, maybe something like that. Alternatively, if you're going for a rendering style that I'm more familiar with, you would add a lot more contrast, especially in areas where there is ambient occlusion. So let me just quickly show you guys how to do that, okay? We're going to start a new layer here, and it's going to be a multiply layer. And then we can pick a relatively neutral grayish reddish brown and just apply a layer of shadow over the darker sections. What multiply layers allow you to do is add shadows very quickly without completely changing the nature of the colors underneath. Because there's a very distinct light source here, you can see there's actually a lot of pretty solid shadows that are being cast on the character's face. So immediately, okay, look at the before and the after. Look how much more three-dimensionality now you've given your painting. After this, if we feel the need, we can go in with a blending brush and soften up some of these edges, because not all of these shadows are going to have hard edges, so some of these are going to kind of blend back into the light. Now, once we're happy with this, we can come back in with a sharper detailed brush and add in even more depth to the shadows. And one thing that you might notice here is that the eyelashes tend to stand out a little bit and look a little jarring, and that's just because we didn't add enough shadow underneath them. Anytime you have a character with long lashes, there's going to be a lot of ambient occlusion that occurs beneath the lashes because light can't actually get through all of them, so it creates a little patch of shadow underneath, and that part might look a little bit darker. Now, for a lot of this rendering, I'm also using an airbrush just to add in some softer shadows underneath some of the elements that are covering parts of the skin, like the hair right here underneath. Now, if you want to make your colors pop a little bit more, you can add in some bounce light on the surfaces that are actually receiving bounce light, like the cheek right here, like maybe the bottom of the nose. And last but not least, dabble in some highlights here, some highlights on the nose, a little bit of highlights on the cheek right there. And now after some of these very simple changes to the proportion as well as the contrast, there's the before, there's the after. Before, after, before, after, before, after. Huge, huge difference. And you can see even though the colors are stylized, like you said in the description, and changed from the reference, it still looks so much more believable now, right? Here's our next victim. Just posted a few drawings and said no words because you're probably scared of me. Understandable. I would be scared too if my drawing looked like this. I'm just playing. It's actually a very good drawing. You've got a very solid foundation here. The sketch of the hair looks phenomenal. I love the way you've done that. And overall, the angles of the facial features, this 3/4 view that you've done looks great. But it seems like, okay, there's one thing that you kind of neglected. So let's take a look at the eye line here on the reference. Okay, now let's draw a line at the top of the head and a line at the bottom of the chin. Now, let's draw a line down, and please note how much larger the top is in comparison to the bottom. Let's do the same measurement exercise here on the drawing. So here, top of the head, bottom of the chin. Now, draw a line across. Proportionally speaking, okay, this bottom section here is much, much larger in terms of its ratio when you compare it to the reference. So always remember, guys, to make this measurement when you're drawing your characters just to make sure all your proportions are correct. Now, of course, you know the drill. You know exactly what we're about to do. So I'm going to just bring the top of her head up, and we're going to take her facial features and just bring them down. During this entire process, I'm paying attention to where the eye line sits on the face, where it is in relation to the top of her head, and I'm comparing the distance between the eye line to the top of her head to the distance between the eye line and the bottom of her chin. All right, so check it out. This is the before. That's the after. Before, after, before, after. Didn't touch your lines, didn't touch your shading. The only thing that you had to tweak a little bit was just the proportions to make this drawing look 10 times better. For those of you who are watching, if you're not in the habit of actually measuring out different parts of the face and understanding all these proportions, listen, the next time you talk to your friends, the next time you talk to your family, go measure their face in your head. Make sure they're not strangely proportioned. And if they are, hey, let them know. Tell them. Be like, bro, your eye line is way too low. Just do it. Trust me. Make them insecure. And last but not least, here's Christina saying, I followed your angled faces tutorial and I think I got the hang of it. Tried using myself as a reference. And I agree, Christina. I think you got the hang of it too. I think you've done a great job here. The reason that I decided to still include this entry here is because there are some small details that we can adjust to make it even more convincing. So again, when you're drawing angled faces, remember the brow line is everything. You want to find the slope of the brow line. Look at the angle in the reference, and then let's come over here and look at the angle in the drawing. Now I know what you're thinking. You're sitting there in your little student chair and you're saying, Sam, this is nitpicking. That's like a difference of less than 10 degrees. You know, how much does it really matter? Oh, you'd be surprised. Once again, we're gonna liquefy. I feel like I'm always liquefying. I feel like Harry Potter, but instead of stupefy, I'm just liquefy. Liquefy, liquefy. Listen, so all we're gonna do is we're gonna bring the brows up. Okay, we're going to drag that up and make sure that the angle of the brows follows the angle that we see in the reference. And then because we've said before, all the facial features on the front of the face will match up in their perspective. That means the eye line is also going to move up and be angled a little bit more, right? So we're going to angle the eyes to have them follow the slope of the brow line. And then I'm going to bring the nose up again, just a little bit closer to the eyes like you see in the reference, right? And once you bring the nose up, you're going to realize there's a lot of space now for the mouth and the chin, which here basically means the mouth has also got to move up, but not the entire thing. The corners can kind of stay down a little bit because when perspective shows the mouth from the bottom, you're going to see the corners wrap around this front round muzzle shape of the face. And I think in this case, the shape of the chin, the neck, the jaw is mostly pretty good. Easy, simple fix. That was like less than 2 minutes. Now look at the before, after, before, after. Before, after. Very tiny angle change here, but you can see it makes the sketch look so much more 3D and convincing. And there it is, guys, another rescue session. We've just saved more of your guys' art. Hopefully you learned something new from this video, and if you didn't, I hope you had a good time. But maybe try turning your brain on for the next one because I'm really trying here, man. Anyways, guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Check out my Patreon for monthly tutorials if you want in-depth breakdowns on specific topics. This month, we're actually talking about how to pick colors and how to choose colors for your rendering. And subscribe right here on YouTube if you want to see more art-related content just like this. And with all that being said, I will see you guys in our next class critique session. Don't be late. Look, man, if you're late again for the next one, I will be calling your parents. I will be sending you to the principal's office. You will absolutely be disciplined, young man. I promise you that.